What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Panthers Advice. Today, man, we got a lot to talk about. All right, the Panthers press conference was it this afternoon, I believe. It was actually pretty detailed. We got some interesting information from Dave Canales. He actually went into some football terminology, talked about the three tight ends, talked about Bryce Young, the injury, talked about T-Mac and how they're using him inside and outside the numbers. A lot of good stuff we're going to dive into today, including our favorite reporter. Well, take with that what you will, right? Just, doing his thing as he always does. But before we get into that, I want to talk about Bryce Young real quick and the injury and everything else that happened, because it's going to be interesting to see how the Panthers try and play the 49ers on Monday Night Football. And the reason I say that is this right here. The Falcons got 5 sacks against the Panthers, right? And I don't think there's going to be any really big changes coming to the Panthers offensive line. So if the Falcons got 5 sacks, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how the Panthers decide to kind of cover up their mistakes from last time, right? Are they going to try and force the run a little bit more against the Niners, right? Niners, they're starting to look strong. McCaffrey kind of on a roll lately, all right? It's going to be interesting to see kind of how the Panthers decide to game plan in that game. Maybe they just keep Bryce back there 5 wide and keep trying to go for mismatches, right? Because Dave Canales did mention that as well. He talked about Leggett, which we'll get to in the press conference. So it's going to be interesting to see. All right, do they ride the run? All right, or do they kind of go a balanced offense? Something that Dave also touched on as well, which is something I hope to see, right? It may be not completely balanced 50-50, right? If Rico's toting that thing, then let Rico continue to tote that thing, right? But if Bryce Young's on fire and he, his reads are on point, right? Defense can't figure out what to do to stop the Panthers offense, then definitely let Bryce keep singing that thing, right? So it's going to be interesting against the Niners. Bryce Young, he looked kind of hurt twice, right? And even before that, he got hurt early in the season too. Offensive line's definitely shaken up a little bit as well. So how do the Panthers combat that? Something we'll talk about later this week. But with all that being said, let's jump into the press conference, because there were some interesting questions and then not some interesting ones. But overall, I thought it was good, man. Let's get into it.
David.
Hey, Dave. Bryce was really sore. His ankle looked really sore when he came into the press conference after the game. Where does he stand now? I know he finished the game, but, will that impact you guys as far as using him for preparation for the Monday night game, or what do you foresee for him?
We'll do the full evaluation and we'll have the updates out on Thursday.
So you heard what Dave said, full evaluation, straight PR answer. We'll get you the answer on Thursday, and that's right. It was a few weeks ago where that defender stepped. Was it against the Jets where he stepped on Bryce's ankles? So if his ankle is shaken up again, all right, I don't know if it's the same one or not. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. All right, actually, I don't know which one it is, right? But it's going to be interesting to see how the Panthers play it, right? Do they kind of cater to Bryce, right? Go more run heavy, less play action type thing? That's going to be interesting to see. But you heard what Dave told our favorite guy, but let us keep it going.
Okay, so anything, did you talk to him today? How's he feeling?
We'll let you know on Thursday.
He just doesn't get it, man. He just doesn't get it. But here's the best part. He's not done yet. He's not done.
Okay.
Look at, hold on, run that back. Look at Dave's grin right here. Gotcha. Played you at your own game. But of course, David Newton sees that. He's like, nah, I'm not done yet. Let's keep it going.
And just to clarify, when you let us know Thursday, is he going to full test, MRI, everything?
Look at Dave's face right now. He's literally biting his tongue. Like, he didn't just tell him, 2 or 3 different times, I told you on Thursday, right? Look at this. There's no way he's serious. He's biting his tongue. He has some words he wants to say to David Newton. He has some words. Look at this man's face.
So the next couple of days or what?
We will do whatever we feel is necessary and we'll let you know on Thursday.
This man is like, how does he have a job? How does this man have a job? I just told him 2, 3, 4 times in a row, we will let him know on Thursday about Bryce Young. This is crazy right here, guys. It's not crazy because we all know how he is, but it's just funny that Davis in there like, this is unbelievable. This is the Panthers guy for ESPN, And these are the type of questions he's asking me. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. And this is the Panthers representative right here. Let's keep it going.
Appreciate it. Talk to you Thursday.
And then a lot of teams have like a de facto number one tight end who they target pretty regularly. You've kind of run a trio committee, and they're pretty involved in the run game and everything like that. What's your biggest takeaway on the way that group is operated as a unit, and how much more can they evolve as passing threats?
Yeah.
Before Dave goes, I got to give my 2 cents real quick. The tight ends from Mitchell Evans to Trimble to Jatavion Sanders has been incredible to me. All right, I think Mitchell Evans took a leap that nobody saw coming, and what I mean by that is we all know he was going to be a run blocker, right? But as far as receiving, he's not really dropping the ball at all. Every time that he's targeted for it, I don't know what the completion percentage is. Someone's going to have to look that up for me. But he seems like it's money, right? And Trimble does his thing too. Jatavion Sanders, definitely more of a receiving threat, but has gotten better at run blocking. I like Dave's mentality, with the smash mouth football, as long as, like what we talked about before, he stays in that balanced look, right? When you go too run heavy, you saw what's happened to Rico the last couple of weeks, haven't had a ton of success, right? And it's not because of Rico, right? It's because teams are shutting down the run. So now it's up to Dave as the play caller, right? As the play caller and head coach. Okay, we have to adapt. We have to stay in that balanced offense look. So bang, take a couple of tight ends out, bring in a couple of receivers, and let that thing go.
Definitely detailed. Pat McPherson does a great job with these guys being prepared. Tight end is a very difficult position to play, as you know. Running routes, blocking in the run game, being a part of the pass protection unit as well. So there's a lot of things we ask them. They're very smart guys, conscientious, they're tough, versatile guys that we trust. So we try to get them all out there to have a chance to affect the game. And I believe there is more out there for them in the pass game. And it's not just about that group, but it's about how I'm using them and the different positions that I put them in on routes that they can find success with. And so that's a continued process to see if we can continue to find another spark with that pass unit.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know about that for sure. And what I mean by that is there room for them to grow beyond kind of what they're already doing? And the reason I say that is if you look at, let's say, this past week's game, I think Leggett had 8, T-Mac had 12, Coker had 4. So 12, 8, 4, that's 24 right there. I don't know how much more they can get involved because I think Mitchell Evans had 1 or 2, so that's 25 right there. You had Rico 5 out of the backfield, and that's going to happen, right, if they go pass heavy, right? Because, and not necessarily pass heavy, but more of a pass offense than a rush offense, because the reason they're doing that is because teams are stacking the box. So they're going to stack the box, bang, throw it out of the backfield, get a couple or just one lead block in front of you from one of the offensive linemen. It makes sense to do that. So I don't know how much more the tight end room can develop unless they come out in that heavy package, 13 personnel, right? 1 back, 3 tight ends, and they run a lot of play action off of that. But that means the run blocking and pass blocking would have to improve off of that, and you'd be taking away 2 or 3 guys off the line. I don't know if I see that happening, all right? Now, maybe it could when you get some healthy guys back, right, and you start to get consistency upon the offensive line, then maybe we can go back to the 13 personnel, that play action. But until we get to that point, I don't know how they're going to improve that passing game with the tight ends, given kind of how we are with the pass blocking without them, but we'll see what happens.
Ball getting out to so many different receivers yesterday. Was that a conscientious effort going into the game, or was that something that kind of happened organically?
It happened organically, Joe, and I'm glad you asked because that's something that we try to bring to life weekly. And again, as I've said before, we try to create a focal point of the pass game, knowing that T-Mac's going to get targeted in some way, shape, or form. When you create that, then you can kind of tilt the field a little bit and find other opportunities. And I was just fired up that we had the protection, first and foremost, it starts up front. They gave Bryce the time to get through his progressions to find different guys. There was a concerted effort to make sure that Xavier had some one-on-one opportunities.
See, when I heard that, I was like, oh boy. And it was good, though, because this time it made sense, right? And I talked about the Saints game. A lot of people A lot of y'all are in my comments saying Bryce Young's not it, this, and the third. Now, did he play bad? Yes. Right now, that's the one thing I've said about Bryce Young, the inconsistency. But there was a few of those throws. And I told you, I wonder if Dave Canales is forcing that ball to Leggett. And what did Dave say just now? All right, run that back real quick.
To make sure that Xavier had some one-on-one opportunities.
Now, is that excusing Bryce Young staring at Leggett, waiting for him to get open? No, it's not. But you kind of see where the offense is right now. Now, there's two ways to look at this. One, you can be like, okay, it's kind of messing up Bryce with his reads, but at the same time, Dave is, kind of planning a strategy. He's like, okay, if we do this, this, and this, Leggett should get that one-on-one with that DB. Now, two things can be true. One, Bryce is looking too long, or two, Leggett's going to be open, right? But I think Leggett sometimes on those deep routes, except for this week he did a good job. Last week, you didn't see him really make that DB bite at all mid. But this time, I think it was kind of like an out and up. I don't remember for sure what he did, but he did something at the DB to bite and then bang, took the top off. And that's the thing we've said about Leggett on this channel since preseason started. He has the most potential. He's probably the fastest receiver on the team, right? He's got great jumping ability. He's got great acceleration too. That's why DBs can't play him up close, right? And that's where it gets tricky with him. Sometimes when he's going full speed on those routes, if the DB knows what's coming, it's not as great. But if they don't know what's coming, that allows Leggett to really, be a 10 out of 10 receiver, a 5-star, right? And that's what you saw yesterday. So it's interesting that Dave brought this up again with trying to force Leggett the ball. I go back and forth. I think it's good because you have to get Leggett the ball more, right? Because they can open other things up for, T-Mac on the other side. All right, Coker underneath as well. And the tight ends on top of that, because then the safeties have to play farther back, which means the tight ends, if they're running a dig, safeties are worried about T-Mac or Leggett on the other side, then bang, tight ends ideally should be open. So that could be a way where the tight end, the routes develop more into something else, but let's keep it going.
On that side, if AJ Terrell was going to follow T-Mac, we were going to have some opportunities over there, and Xavier made some plays for us. And then also the other part was making sure Jalen Coker doesn't come out of the game with a couple of targets. He made some fantastic catches yesterday.
Back on T-Mac, he had exactly the same number of catches, yards, and touchdowns inside the numbers and outside. Was that by design?
Yes, just trying to move him around.
That's actually crazy what he said. Run that back real quick.
Back on T-Mac, he had exactly the same number of catches, yards, and touchdowns inside the numbers and outside. Was that
same yards, catches, and touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, right? Inside and outside the numbers. Woo!
Yes, just trying to move him around, trying to make sure that he doesn't get the hard down every play. When I say the hard down, anytime you're in a 3-by-1 formation and he's the single side X, there's a lot of things that a defense can do. First and foremost, you can put your best corner over there to cover him.
There's one.
Secondly, you can cloud it with the safety over top. You can buzz the safety into the hook and have kind of a presence on the weak side. You can use the weak side linebacker to kind of stave off any type of in-breaker. So there's a lot of things that defenses can do.
So that's something I've been saying, all right, with T-Mac, is that they have to get him involved more. There was a ton of times at the beginning of the season where I felt like in a 3-by-1 set, he was the X, and it just didn't make any sense to me. All right, it didn't make any sense to me. I mean, it does to a point, right, because you run that 3-by-1 set for a reason. But my thing is, put him over there, all right, as the slot, as a Z, as the Y. Put XL on the X. Let him get that one-on-one, right? So Dave Canales did a great job against the Falcons. I think his best game as far as play calling all season long, because I think Rico still got, 16, 18 touches. So I think this was his best game. As far as play calling, Bryce's best game by far in the NFL, right? 448 yards passing. Then you had T-Mac with some touchdowns as well. You got Leggett with a touchdown as well, doing what you need him to do more of. I'm excited to see what this team can do against San Fran Monday Night Football. Bryce's ankle will be something to monitor. We'll see what they say Thursday. But until then, we got a lot more stuff coming up. We're going to look at Bryce Young's film study, 448 yards. Look at T-Mac and Leggett tomorrow. And look at some defense potentially as well, so stay tuned for that. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Panthers Vices out. Peace.